Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we have another album review for you, and it is Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Before we go any further though, could you please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and please give us a follow on Instagram. There is a link in the description below. You'll be getting access to further content, polls, tournaments, and you even get to have a say in what I review, you lucky things. And of course, we thank you if you do. This is the first album from Kendrick Lamar in 5 years, and this album very much feels built in that time away. It's a hugely introspective album in the sense that it almost feels like you're just wandering around through Kendrick's thoughts, for better or for worse. I really admire that honesty and bravery from an artist these days. It's rare with things like cancel culture around. For somebody to just willingly wear their heart on their sleeve for the world to hear, it's quite admirable actually. But with all of that said, it does make this album quite hard to review actually, because it isn't actually about the songs. It's not about the rhythm, the style, the collaborations. It's Kendrick telling a story about himself, what he's noticed about himself, both good and bad, and where his ideologies have come from, taking trips down memory lane with his family and abuse that he faced at a younger age, the controversial arguments that he witnessed and he was too young to not really understand what was happening around him, and how all of that has come together to make him the man he is today, for better or for worse. And what really put the cherry on the cake of that story for me is the final words of this album. I choose me. He's learning to love himself. He's learning to understand himself. And he's also now learning from his mistakes rather than hosting a pity party, as he calls it himself in the album. I love that this album took me on that deep, personal, almost too personal roller coaster ride. You feel like taking just a big deep breath once the album's finished, not because it's bad, but it's exhausting because it's so heavy-handed, especially in the subject matter. The beats are wild as hell, as expected, and you will pick up something new each time you listen to it. I certainly have, both in the sound design and in the actual words being said. You do need to listen to this album more than once to really penetrate its hard surface. It's a very experimental album in that sense. I personally thought it worked, but I don't know if it will for everybody. And that does sort of bring me to the flaws. I personally think there is too much going on in this album. For all the deep, introspective wisdom that this album offered me, there are still way too many times where Kendrick just seems to wander off and bring up a new topic that seems so far removed and completely irrelevant to everything else that we've been discussing. I think this album is maybe 3 or 4 songs too heavy, and they don't feel like they belong here. It feels meandering, it feels like padding, and ultimately it becomes forgettable. And it does dilute the strength and power of the real hard-hitting stuff this album offers. I will mention a couple of songs that stood out to me, maybe 2 or 3 that really did grab hold of me and I felt they were noteworthy. I thoroughly enjoyed the wordplay and the rhyming ability to the song We Cry Together. And I feel Taylor Page, who collaborates on the song, is probably the best damn thing about it actually. She really sells her part of this song. She makes it work more so than I feel Kendrick does. However, the song is about a hugely toxic relationship in which the song is essentially an argument that rhymes. It's very clever in that sense, but having heard it 3 or 4 times, yeah, I'm not lying, it got tiresome real quick, because that is what it is. It's an argument. How many times do you want to listen to 2 people have an argument? And it's not even like an evolving argument. It's set in stone, the same words are consistently said. It's a little bit misguided in delivery. I think it honestly might have worked better as skits, little 30-second moments between the songs. Break that song up into pieces and put them in between the tracks as a skit. Let the relationship and the argument evolve with each song. That's how I'd have done it, but I'm no multi-million platinum selling artist, so what do I know? And my personal favourite song on the album was Auntie Diaries, because this for me is Kendrick at his best. It's discussing the fact that he has an aunt who is transgender and that he didn't really understand that until very recently in his life. And he starts to think about actions he made in the past that were perhaps not as progressive and derogatory towards trans people, and how he maybe regrets that because he considers how that would have made his auntie feel. There's such a clear innocence to Kendrick's thought pattern and behaviour, and also a guilt, actually. You can feel he's upset with himself for not doing better, for not knowing better. This is where Kendrick thrives. This is why he's as good as he is, because it is like wandering around in his mind. It's too personal in that sense. It's intense, but it hits you in the stomach and you feel it. It's a real knockout, heartfelt, beautiful song that's wonderfully delivered. More of that, please, Kendrick. This album made me feel pretty much every emotion known to man. From uncertainty to discomfort, to nearly disliking it, to finding it quite easy to listen to bopping my head along to the beat, to nearly wiping a damn tear away from my eye when it finished. This is the definition of a roller coaster album. I'm going to give Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers a 9 out of 10. The problem for you guys is, though, despite my score, I still don't know who I'd recommend this album to. You need to know what you're getting yourself into. This is not necessarily club music. This is not throwaway music. This album needs your attention. If you're going to listen to it, you need to be giving it your everything, and it will reward you for doing so. But it is heavy-handed, it's not easy, it's hard to get under its skin. There's going to be several times where you feel like you've returned to the wrong table at the restaurant, but I can't deny the magic that's within this album. A beautifully tragic yet life-affirming story of a man's growth, which I found strangely moving. Thank you for watching this review. Please be sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And please be sure to hit the comment section as well. Have you listened to Kendrick Lamar's new album? What do you think about it? What are some of your favourite songs off the album? Let me know in the comment section below. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.